Hi BookTube, I'm here with my July TBR. I know TBRs are kind of falling out of favor in the BookTube community, but I'm still kind of old school in that way. I also feel like TBRs help keep me accountable. I haven't had many solidly decided TBRs this year, and I've been hitting a lot more reading slumps than I usually do. So I'm gonna go back to my TBRs and have that list to keep me accountable. So, first off, an audiobook. I read the first two books in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and I want to read the next one. I can't find a physical copy of it in any of these bookstores. I don't want to wait for it to come by ordering it online, so I got the audiobook. So this is the last book in the trilogy. I can't really tell you too much about it. I just really hope that things are solved in this book, because I know that these characters continue on in other books, so I really hope the main story plots are solved. So if you don't know, this is about an illegitimate son of a prince who's taken in by the royal family, and he soon gets embroiled in the politics of the royal family. Next are some rereads, which are totally weird for me. The first one is Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I really can't remember too much about this. These are 5 interrelated short stories that tell the story of the Foundation, which is an institute to preserve the best of the galactic civilization after the collapse of the Galactic Empire. And then next is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I do remember this book very well. It's one of the original dystopian novels. This world was created by taking advantage of people's apathy and people's pursuit of pleasure over everything else. That's how this government was able to take over, and how it's able to keep its people oppressed. And the next category is series continuations. So I'll be reading The Fall of Hyperion by Dan Simmons, which is the second book in the Hyperion Endymion collection, I guess you could call it. And it's about 6 characters that are in search of this creature called the Shrike that will grant them a wish but also kill them. The next is also the second in a series. It's The Manticore by Robertson Davies. It's the second book in the Deptford trilogy, which starts with Fifth Business, which I absolutely adore. It follows David Staunton, who is the son of Boy Staunton from the first novel, as he seeks out therapy for the relationship he has or doesn't have with his father. And next is Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. This is one of the Discworld novels and one of the few standalone novels, as it's not part of a sub-series. And it follows a god and his prophet, and that's all I wanted to know. I don't really like knowing a lot about the plot before I go into something. I like kind of discovering it by myself, so that's why my plots are very kind of vague. And the last category is kind of new to me books. I haven't read them, they're not part of a series, just going into them. First one is Sarafina by Rachel Hartman. Well, it is part of a series, I think, but it's the first in the series anyways. And it's about an alternative world in which dragons are real and can take human form and are actually living in peace with humans, which sounds pretty cool. Number 8 is The World Goes On by Laszlo Krasznahorkai. This won the Man Booker International Prize. I usually don't care about book prizes, but I have read Satan Tango by Krasznahorkai, and I really enjoyed it, so when I saw this book I was immediately intrigued. So it's a series of short stories, and one is actually just like 19 pages of blank. Like, there's nothing written on the pages except for like the page number. So it's really kind of, you know, that postmodern playing with words type of coolness that I really like in books. Number 9 is Mort, or Marte, not entirely sure, by Robert Rapino. In this book, the characters are cats, which was just enough for me to pick it up. Basically, it's about cats that are fighting in a war to make humans extinct, and this whole war was started by ants. But it seems more serious than humorous, but we'll see. Next is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. And this is about a woman who has worked for the past 18 years in a convenience store and is facing societal pressure to conform to their idea of a successful Japanese woman. So this really appealed to me because if you don't know, my parents recently bought a convenience store and I've been working there, and a really cool connection there. But I'm also a really strong believer that our jobs don't necessarily define who we are, and people judge their own successes in life in different ways. So yeah, you know, you may be working in a convenience store and people may look down on you, but you're successful in other ways in your life, or you're content with things. You know, for me, I don't want a job where I'm really incredibly stressed and I'm working, you know, 10 hours a day and, you know, I'm answering to a boss. You know, I don't want a job like that. You know, I'm really content with where I am right now. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out in this novel. Then I have a Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr. This is another classic science fiction. It's a post-apocalyptic world in which Catholic monks are charged with protecting scientific knowledge until the world is ready for it again. And it supposedly spans thousands of years. And lastly is Lamb by Christopher Moore. This is a humorous book about Jesus and his best friend Biff. So that's it. That's my very ambitious July TBR. But I worked out the math, and if I read 31 pages of 4 books each, so have 4 books and read 31 pages each in them, in a day, I should be able to get through this. Doesn't seem like a lot when you think of that. Just reading 30 pages of a book, put it down, pick up another book, 30 pages, put it down. It's a lot easier than going one, I have to read 130 pages in one book, you know. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty cool way to look at things. Math.